Say her name, say their names, Brianna Taylor. Welcome to the Stina Show. Happy Thursday. Hi, Avi. Got one of our favorite guests coming on today, Avi Greenberg, breathwork practitioner, instructor. Let's go. Avi.
Hey,
Avi.
how's it going?
How are you? How's everything? New life, new daddy.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's
Oh
been
my
wild,
God.
It's been everyone says like get ready, you're not gonna sleep, all those
Right.
things, and it's true. You know, I mean, the first couple weeks it was pretty easy. Felt easy. I mean, obviously for me it's much different than Libby because she had the baby and was pregnant for 9 months, and I thought we like had it figured out, which was so naive. And then we literally started getting our butts kicked for like a few weeks, and it was rough. It was rough, but I think we've like worked our way through the early kinks in the beginning, and now we've gotten into a nice routine. The baby settled down a lot. I think like it's almost like it sounds weird to say, but like pets, where like you see a parent or like someone that owns a dog, and the person's walking the dog, and the person that's walking the dog is a complete mess, like a nervous wreck, and the dog's barking like a maniac because like the dog feeds off that energy.
Right.
Well, I'm pretty sure the same thing happens with your baby, because we were a complete wreck for like the month of July, and I think the baby could feel that and feel our tension. So we were just like feeding off of each other, basically. And once we started to settle down and relax, she started to settle down and relax. And since we moved, it's gotten a lot easier. We've got a house now, a lot more space, a backyard. Oddly enough, like whenever we're in the house with her and she starts getting worked up, and like we fed her, we know she's been fed, we know she's been changed. We'll
Wait,
just take
how
her
old
out.
is she for the people watching?
July 9th, she was born.
Oh my
So what was that,
God.
like 7 weeks?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Congrats.
So we go outside with her. We just like walk outside in our backyard, and we have this really big backyard. We have all these like incredible trees back there. We have an apple tree. We have a cherry tree.
Wow.
We've got a big garden that's growing like tomatoes and pumpkins and squash and peppers. And we just kind of like walk around the backyard, or we'll walk in the front yard, and I'll like put her feet in the grass, and like all of a sudden she just chills out. Like she'll look up at the trees and she'll just totally relax. And yeah,
Where
we took around
where did you move to? You
we
were
moved
moved
to
from
Salt
Brooklyn.
Lake City, Utah.
Wow.
Yeah, crazy. And it's really sunny here. There's a ton of sunlight. So yesterday we took her out on a really long hike. We went out for like a 2-3 hour hike, and she loves it. Like we put her in like the little pack, and she just kind of passes out. Libby carries her, and it's been really nice. We've got cousins out here that love her and love the baby, and they've got 3 young boys, young men that they're raising, and so like we can drop her off. Like today we dropped her off and like went and had lunch, and it was like the first meal I think Libby and I have eaten out alone for since like February or March.
Oh.
So it's a process. How are you doing? You're out of service for your
Uh,
country? You're back home?
yeah. No, I'm still here.
You're still there? No way.
This is a different room than the
Yeah, it's a
original.
different room. I think you've upgraded.
Thank you. I mean, I have to go back to that one eventually, probably.
Okay, all right.
But yeah, no, this is the hotel room.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good. But
Nice.
I for breath work, I've been slacking
Yeah,
because when you're actually at a full-time job, it's hard to focus on those things.
yeah, totally. And it's something that we don't really do unless we like build it into our schedule. I work with a lot of people that have like regular 9 to 5 gigs, and they like it when I email them a calendar invite for the group sessions like a week in advance.
Right.
And they say, yeah, I just put it right into my calendar. That way, like I know not to book any appointments at that time. I know to just kind of like keep, and listen, sometimes they won't show up, and that's fine too. But it's tough. Like, I mean, I teach it all the time, so I hardly ever really do what I used to do when I was just like a regular practitioner of like, you know, Wim Hof. And I like to wake up every day and do my 5 rounds of Wim Hof breathing and get blasted off. Like now, with the baby, I'll do just like 5 minutes before I got to get up. You know, I have private clients that I work with that are back on the East Coast and Central Time, and they like to do early morning sessions before they get to work. So we do a 7 a.m. session Central Time. So it's 6 a.m. my time, Mountain Time. So I've basically got to be like ready to go up at like 5:30, start the session with them at 6 a.m., you know, get them breathing relaxed. And sometimes, you know, like I'll then have, like today I had like 3 back-to-backs basically till like noon. And you know, that's time also I'm not helping out with the baby and Libby, so I have to kind of balance it all out. But you know, yesterday we went for a hike, we jumped in a cold plunge afterwards. I can't complain, girl. I just bought a huge wine barrel that I'm going to cut open and I'm going to use for my backyard ice baths. It's a really big wine barrel. It's sitting in the back.
That's inspiring. I'm going to write that down. That's cool.
Yeah. So we're going to take it to this friend of ours' place, and we're going to cut it open, and we're going to like treat it and get the wood nice and soft and start to go in and have like backyard ice baths.
For the people watching who may not know, you've trained directly with Wim Hof under his teachings.
Yeah.
That's
So
epic.
I met Wim initially like 4 years ago in New York. He came to New York for a big 500-person workshop. It was a complete shit show. You know, they were supposed to have yoga mats for everyone. There was no yoga mats. They were supposed to have a projector with visuals. The projector wasn't. It was literally like everything that could go wrong did go wrong. And I really just wanted to go there to meet him and thank him. And I did. I went up to him. I got to thank him for you know, basically repackaging a method that had been founded a long time ago by monks in the mountains. And after that, I became friends with the Wim Hof instructor in Miami, and he told me that I should get certified. And at first, I really wasn't even interested in getting certified. I just really loved doing it on my own. And then I kind of changed my mind. I was like, well, why not? I'll get certified. Like, we'll just see what happens. And I submitted. There was a waiting list for the second round of U.S. instructors. So I was on the waiting list for the 3rd round, and then the 3rd round opened up, and I got right in. And then I did a 2-day advanced workshop in LA where Wim was there. The funny thing is, Wim doesn't do a lot of the teaching at these things. There's master instructors that have learned and know science that are like former teachers or doctors or physical therapists, and they know the body, the science inside and out. That's who they have teach the instructors of the future. If it's Wim, he's going to tell people to do like 20-minute ice baths. He's going to tell people to go extremely deep on the breathing and like blast people off. He's just, it'd be like learning how to box from Mike Tyson in the late 80s. Like he would just like try to rip your ear off. Like that's how Wim is. He wants you to learn from like cold, hard nature. And at least in the States, we don't really do that. Like we're a waiver country. We're like, if you fuck me up, I'm going to sue you country. So they know that. The Dutch people know how Americans are. So they have really professional, eloquent, science-backed trainers train us. And then Wim is there sort of like jumping in and out. And then when it's time to climb the mountain, which we all do to get certified, Wim is there, we all climb the mountain, and he basically leads us climbing the mountain and like kind of gives us the rah motivational speech going up the mountain. Cool. But really, when you want to like learn from Wim, it's at the end of the days at these week-long events, and he's at the bar and he likes to drink, and he's sitting at the bar having a beer, and you sit right next to him at the bar and you have a beer with him, and you just start to chit chat and you shoot the shit with him. And he'll say, all right, 1 more beer, then I'm going to go back to my room. And it's like 5 more beers later. And what a magician. Yeah, that's what he does. Like he'll just, and it's that kind of guy. Like he's like alpha male. Like, I don't know if you've seen videos. There was a recent event they did right before the pandemic happened where it was like Lewis Howes, Aubrey Marcus, this other guy, Steve Weatherford, who's now a fitness like celebrity type of guy, who was also an NFL player on the Giants. All these guys went to Poland and did like a week-long Poland expedition with Wim, and it was like the full alpha male experience. And, you know, sitting in the ice bath for 30 minutes, going nuts on the breathing. And that's like kind of how he is. He's like one of the guys. Like he's not going to talk your ear off on science, but man, is he going to talk your ear off about like almost losing his leg running a marathon on the Arctic Circle. And if you challenge him to see who can climb a mountain faster, you better believe he's going to die on the mountain trying to beat you. Like he is all the way there. But the best part was not even Wim. It's the people that you meet, the people I got certified with. I roomed with two, you know, in the Netherlands. I guess Avi to them is a woman's name. So they thought I was a woman. So when I checked into the lodge on the mountain to get my room key, they had my room set up with two women. So I actually roomed with these two women. My good friend Tony Bark, who passed away recently, and she was a doctor from Chicago who would go to Burning Man, who like came to Portland, basically straight from Burning Man with a broken rib and liquid LSD and edibles. And then my other roommate was Sue, who's known as Barefoot Sue. She's a woman that lives outside of Toronto in a forest. She sounds like a gnome or something, and she barefoots all over the forest and swims in frozen over lakes, where basically she chops holes into the lake with an axe or a pig.
This reminds me of the movie The Beach a little bit.
Yeah, and that's what it was like. And those were my two roommates. And, you know, I called us the Golden Girls because I love to go to sleep early and they like to go to sleep early. And we would have our full day of breathing first thing in the morning, like intense, crazy breathing where people would cry, scream, laugh, really lose themselves in the breathing. Then we do a breakfast, and it was just like a full day thing. And then we do an outdoor thing and ice baths. And then at the end of the day, you'd have dinner. And some people, like for them, that's just when like the party would start. You know, you imagine all these people that are training to become Wim Hof certified. There's some wild ones.
So it's self-care hard, play hard.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, it's like that. It really was like, it was almost like a self-help retreat in some ways, where you have people that have demons. You know, we all have trauma and issues in our past, and they'd go and spend this week there, and they'd be doing this crazy breathing every morning, and cold and nature, and just, you know, no TV, no phones out, no distractions, just full on connection. And every day, like 5 or 6 people would have to go in front of the group and sort of share their story and why they became a Wim Hof instructor. And honestly, that was one of the hardest parts about getting certified, is that you're hearing these incredible stories of people that were, you know, suicidal, people that were dealing with major depression, or people that found the method at a time when they needed it the most. And it's really intimidating because there's really, really eloquent, smart people, you know, everything from, like I said, doctors to Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belts to Navy SEALs. I mean, you really have just the full spectrum of backgrounds. So you hear these stories and they just blow your mind. I mean, some people were like on death's door. You know, some people were bedridden for a year, 2 years before they found the method and got out of bed and figured out a way. And, you know, there's people that were single parents that were suicidal just because they couldn't handle the stress and depression. I mean, there's a lot of mental health issues out there, as I'm sure you know. And it's like this thing that no one really likes to talk about until it's like something you have to talk about. And in that community, it was something that, you know, you almost had to talk about because, you know, you're trying to study and learn in a way that you can help people that are, you know, suffering.
Did you see what Wim posted yesterday?
No,
he said, if you don't make time for your wellness, you'll be forced to make time for your illness.
Yeah.
He posted that yesterday.
Yeah, well, I'm sure that was his son, because if
I mean, I was gonna say that, but I don't know.
Totally. People ask me all the time about that, and I was like, you know, when I met Wim, when I hung out with him, like one of the nights at the bar, one night I sat with him at the bar for like hours. You know, he took out his phone to show me a picture of his son.
Right? Annam?
No, that's his older. He has a baby. He's got like a 3 or 4-year-old son.
Oh,
He had a
yeah,
recent
right.
child. His phone, it looks like a teenager or like a college student's phone. It is cracked, like up and down. Like you can barely see anything. It's like exactly what you'd expect. You know, like he barely knew how to navigate the phone except for the camera and the photo album.
Right.
So
So, so shifting back to structure because it's very important and for breath work, how would you help me get back into a structure?
yeah.
Should I write post-its? Should I write it on my foot?
What's your daily routine like? Like what time are you getting into bed at night? Like start I guess either by last thing or first thing of the day.
Well, first I wake up at 6 a.m. and I go to bed around 10 average.
Okay. All right. And then
So before bed is more likely, but
what's your morning routine like? Like do you get up at 6 and you kind of have to get going right away, or you have time to like sort of build up your morning and get like coffee in or stretch or anything?
I have an hour and a half to do everything I need to do. I have breakfast. I watch talk shows
Yeah,
actually.
listen, I get it.
You know,
I have
and a
my
coffee, right?
what talk shows?
The View, Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel,
Nice. So you watch like the
and
previous night, or you watch in the morning the previous night?
yeah, I usually catch up. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. And you do that from your hotel room, or you do that like in a group area?
Oh yeah, no, because I use Hulu. Hulu's the
Yeah.
jam.
Okay. Yeah. No, for sure. I got
Yeah.
Hulu. So for me, just starting there, you get up at 6. What I would do is I would force myself out of bed, and I'd either lie down on the floor, or if you have a couch in
Mm.
your hotel room, I find getting out of bed and finding a new spot is really helpful.
Wow,
First
what a
off,
good idea.
yeah, you can have a glass of water too in between. You use the restroom first because you'll probably have to go to the bathroom if you don't right away. So you go to the restroom. You can brush your teeth before or after, but you kind of create this like habit where you get out of bed and you either lie on the ground or you get on the couch, and you can start. If you really want to be diligent with yourself, which maybe you like that structure, I use an app. When I was at my like kind of most regimented, I used the Wim Hof app because that way I could record my times. I could basically do 3, 4, 5 rounds, record each time, and it would now it actually the app is much better than it used to be because you can actually
The
save your
timing.
times, and it'll show you your progress, and
And it
start.
also has slow and fast. It only
Yeah,
had fast before.
totally. And now
I
you
couldn't
can,
keep up with that. So.
yeah, now you can build up, and I mean, I think in our last talk, we discussed other protocols. So if I were you, I would start with like a 5-second inhale, 5-second exhale,
Writing it
nice and
down.
easy. You do that for
5 in,
two to
5
five
out.
minutes. Something calm, something gentle, just to kind of get your diaphragm and your breathing muscles going. And you go through your nose. You just get yourself into a nice, relaxed place, and then all of a sudden, you'll start to feel like you're breathing better, you're breathing smoother, and then I would then start and do two, 3, 5 rounds, depending on how you're feeling and what kind of time you have. And if, for example, you're tight on time that morning and you still want to watch you're going to watch your programs, you could do the breathing while you watch. You could do at least the 5-second inhale, 5-second exhale, or box breathing while you're watching the program. So if if you're waking up a little bit later than expected, you don't have as much time, excuse me, you can build it into a combination excuse me, of
Gesundheit.
what you're doing. Speaking of nasal breathing, and then
Sure.
at night, you could also do something then too. You could do something right before bed. The famous one before sleep is 4-7-8. So that's an inhale through the nose for 4, that's a hold for 7, and that's an exhale for 8. That's really nice, calming, and gentle before bed. And you start easy with yourself. Especially now people are stressed. There's a lot of tension going on. So you just you're not too hard on yourself if you miss a day, but you don't miss more than 1 or 2 days. Because once you miss 3, 4 days,
Right. That's
then
what
it
happens.
becomes this burden of, I didn't do it yesterday, I didn't do it the day before, forget it. I'm just off now. And maybe I'll start next month. Maybe I'll,
you fall off. You just fall off, right?
You totally fall off. When was the last time, not to put you on the spot, when was the last time you did any sort of breathing, conscious or,
Oh, well,
it's
probably 2 nights ago, I picked up the WIM app.
Cool.
Because actually, one of my habits is I light a candle before bed, and that kind of sets me on a please meditate, please breathe mission.
Yeah.
And if it happens, it happens,
Yeah, and I think that's great that you have something that sets the tone. And that's, to me, that's what was getting out of bed when I first started, was like, get out of bed. Because if I don't get out of bed, I'm just going to lie in bed and I'm going to sit there with my phone in my face like I do now. And I'm going to scroll through Instagram. I'm going to check my emails. I'm going to respond to emails. And I'm not going to do what I'm supposed to do. Whereas if I get up and the first thing I do is go to the restroom, lie down, and just start my breathing. I actually used to keep my phone in airplane mode until I was done with breathing. So I'd keep my phone basically like unavailable until I did my breathing. And that was sort of my like non-negotiable thing. And I made sure it was in airplane mode, and I didn't get off of airplane mode until I had done my 20 to 30 minutes of morning breathing. And I tell you, you feel like, I mean, you used to come, we used to do sessions, and you feel better. Like you just feel better. It's funny. I work with these private clients and I can tell they're feeling really great from the breathing. And listen, I love that. It's great. But also part of me is like, damn, I wish I was doing this for myself. It's like
right.
A masseuse never goes out for a massage anymore. They're just like tired of probably smelling the oil. And I'm probably tired of thinking about nasal breathing until, it's time for me to go to sleep. But something else you can do, and I don't know if we've talked about specifically your sleep, but mouth taping for bed for sleep ensures nasal breathing for 7 to 9 hours. So if there's like low-hanging fruit that someone that maybe doesn't want to get into breath work, regular breath work, or is scared or intimidated or just not interested, but they're having trouble sleeping, and they're not getting enough deep sleep. And you can feel that when you wake up in the morning. If you're more tired than when you went to sleep, either you're not getting into deep enough sleep, or you're like me and you have a baby. But you can mouth tape, and all of a sudden you go from like waking up 3, 4, 5, 2, 3 times in the night to not waking up at all, sleeping through the entire night, having really vivid dreams, waking up feeling really rested, getting up not needing coffee first thing. And it's a really easy hack. It's probably the easiest hack once you get over the mental hurdle. And the tape itself, it doesn't have to be an intense tape. It could be a very specific tape for sleep. It also could just be regular surgical tape. I use micropore 3M tape, and I just put one strip. You don't even have to cover your whole mouth. You can still breathe through your mouth. So it's not even like you're completely sealed. You still have room to breathe through your mouth, and it gets you into a really calm state, and you sleep the way you're supposed to sleep. We're not supposed to breathe through our mouth. Like, we're not designed that way. So that's a really easy fix there too.
Yeah, I was saying to someone at work, I was telling them to come watch the show, obviously. And I said, just the main point for starters is breathe through your nose.
Yeah.
And I said to him, I said, no one even talks about breath when it is one of the 3 foundations of existence.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
If not, we don't know if it even is the main one, right? Really.
Yeah, it's our most fundamental and basic movement. I work with professional athletes like at the highest levels. And then I also work with people with really debilitating diseases that are, basically on a very short timeline for the rest of their lives. And the common denominator is we all breathe. There's something one of my cousins sent me. I forget the guy that posted it, but he said he went to a school where they take kids that are going to become monks, I think Buddhist monks. And he was at the school kind of just talking to like the instructors and the people that started this school. And he asked them, what's the first thing you teach the kids when they arrive to become monks? And they said, we teach them to breathe. And he goes, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, breath is the first thing you have when you're born, and it's the last thing you have when you die. And it's this one constant we have in our lives. So it's funny, like I work with people and I travel a lot, and a lot of times, like recently I was in Georgia for a workshop, a private workshop this past weekend. And, you know, we're in a really small rural town of Georgia. I think it was like Greenville, Georgia, or something like that, like really small town. And I was at the gas station with my friend, and he saw some people he knew that were from the town, and they asked who I was and what I was doing there because they didn't recognize me. That's how small the town is.
Yeah, right.
And here's this like weirdo with long hair and a funny beard, and they're like, who's this guy? And my friend's like, oh, he's in town. He was doing this workshop. And like, well, what's the workshop? And they're like, oh, it's a breathing workshop. And people just look at me like I have two heads. You know, they don't, well, why do I need to know how to breathe?
Crazy.
Like I breathe all day long, and it's true. But, you know, if you talk to me or you talk to another breath instructor, you know, whether it's Wim Hof, meditation, Zen meditation, Soma breathing, transformational breath, Brian McKenzie stuff, like the performance-based breathing, most people breathe dysfunctionally. You know, you ask other breath instructors, people breathe through their mouth often than not. They hold their breath. They get involuntary breath holds. You know, I was just reading this article in Psychology Now that said 80% of people have email or Zoom apnea, where they hold their breath when they're on their phone emailing, or when they're texting, or when they're on Zoom. And, you know, just my partner Libby and I were just talking about it. You know, we just came to Salt Lake City, and we're at altitude now, not tremendous altitude, but she's noticed a big difference in how she's breathing here. And, you know, maybe that's part of, you know, after being pregnant, after having a baby, you know, all of that considered, but she's noticed she's been holding her breath more. She's feeling her air getting stuck a little bit more in her upper chest. And that happens a lot. You know, I work with a lot of people right now, especially the corporate breath work I'm doing. You just see a lot of people coming into the session super tense, super stressed. You know, I work with Netflix also, and there's 4 or 5 women that come regularly to the sessions, and they always say this is like the first time in a month that I felt like I'm actually breathing. You know, and I think it's just super common right now, and I think there's a reason, partially why that, you know, it's becoming in vogue and popular again. You know, you have someone like James Nestor. He writes this book on breathing, which, you know, I highly recommend to your listeners or to anyone on here. I'm pretty sure I talked about it the last time. There's a reason why it was a New York Times bestseller. You know, there's a reason, you know, this pandemic's going on. It's a respiratory issue that's happening. You know, stress levels, depression is higher now than it's been in a long time. You know, I talked to a lot of friends from my former job. You know, a lot of people are out of work, still looking for work. You know, you started your session with, you know, the Breonna Taylor mask. There's so much, you know, racial issues within the country that just causes, you know, unlimited amounts of stress. Like there's stress to go on and on and on right now. Yeah. And if we don't have our breathing dialed in, and we're not connected to our breath, and we feel that it's just not a part of us, and we don't own it, and it's not something that we're connected to, we lose sight of our most basic ability to deal with stress and to connect to that.
I find it ironic, but not, that the Amazon, which are the lungs of the earth, were on fire previously to this whole thing. The lungs are the focus of our current state, and we're so distracted, you know. I mean, meanwhile, the planet's crying daily for us, right?
Totally. It's a great point. I even missed the environmental issues. You know, I had a friend I was talking to yesterday that was living in Santa Cruz, and basically she said they had to leave, they had to evacuate because of the fires. And like you said, the Amazon. And I mean, I can tell you, coming from Brooklyn and New York, we lived in a pretty residential neighborhood, but coming out to Salt Lake now and just going out for hikes and being up in the mountains and breathing the air and just feeling sort of the difference in the quality of the air and the quality of our breath as we're breathing it. You know, it's night and day. It's a real big difference.
You do look fresher. You look more rejuvenated by nature.
I was in rough shape, girlfriend. I was.
Why? I mean, I didn't say that, but you do look like you're coming into your natural state.
I'm getting a lot more sun out here. You know, it's sunny basically every day, so I'm getting a lot of vitamin D. We're going out for really nice walks. I'm spending a lot of time with my cousins, which, you know, I love to do, and I'm exercising more, and we're getting back to like our good eating habits. You know,
Well, you also have a baby, so that probably
Yeah.
brings you to life as it on its own, right?
Yeah,
On her
it's
own.
like life giving and life taking at the same time. Like talk to me
Yeah.
at like 4 a.m. when she's like,
Oh,
crying and
good.
I'm trying to like,
Blessings.
yeah, you're just trying to like navigate and you're trying to figure out, the best way forward. And I think for us, we were struggling in New York. Like no one wants to hear that when you have a baby. No one wants to hear how hard it is in the beginning. All they want to hear is like, oh, it's the best thing ever. It's a blessing. And it is. It is all those things. But the first 3 nights when we were still in the hospital and Libby was recuperating from giving birth, like and going and being in labor for like 36 plus hours, those first 2 nights when I hadn't slept either, I was holding the baby, nodding off, not even sure how to properly hold the baby, thinking this is one of the hardest nights of my life. Like this, I don't know what I'm doing. I feel embarrassed to call the nurse to tell her to help me. Like it was really hard early on. And it's nice that I have a couple other friends that I can stay in touch with that both had babies right around the same time as me. And, I don't know, it's my first time around. I think it's different too, doing it during this like weird time that we're in. Cause my dad and my mom, a lot of my family didn't get to see the baby for like the first month or so. We were just kind of like isolated in our little apartment in Brooklyn. And it was tough, girl. Like we were at our wits' end. And so that was what was a big impetus for us to move, and something I'm good at is if a situation is just not working and I feel like I'm really struggling, whether it's a job or a bad relationship, something like that, I'm able to kind of take that moment and say, you know what, this isn't for me. Yeah. And it's, it for better or worse, it's helped me a lot in my life because I've been in really bad jobs and I've left them and I haven't just said, well, I need the paycheck. Like I always know I'm going to make it work if I leave or if I, whatever it is. And we're both really happy with the decision. I think we're both feeling much better and more connected to our bodies and out in nature more. So,
well, the risk just taking, we'll do the breath work in like 2 minutes. I just have one more question, but the risk in choosing a breath work path, you wouldn't have taken that if you didn't have that chutzpah,
Yeah, I did it. I started last June, so last year, full time. Before that, I was doing like 1 or 2 workshops a month, and I hated my job. I was working in tech. I was doing really well financially. That was how I was able to, like, getting certified in Wim Hof method. I get reached out to, and I'm sure all the other Wim Hof instructors do the same. Like a lot of people will reach out and say, hey, I do the practice all the time. I'm really interested. What's the certification process like? And you explain kind of like how I explained to you, just, the 2 days in LA, the week-long process. And then they asked, like, how much was it? And it's expensive. It's like thousands of dollars to get certified. And I think they've raised the price again.
I'm sure.
It's not cheap. And so you get certified, and it's not like you get certified and like you just have like business lined up waiting for you. You have to build your business or your network or your community or your workshops from scratch. And especially in New York, I couldn't do it in my backyard. I couldn't, and every place in New York's like, oh, you want to do a workshop here? It's going to cost you $2,000. It's cost you $1,000. Oh, we're going to split everything 60-40 in favor of the gym. So you're like, how am I even going to make this work? So
you're a teacher. That doesn't make sense,
Yeah. We could do a whole thing on just that because I learned fast, and you make mistakes. I made some big mistakes doing it, and you learn from the mistakes. And I had to figure out fast how is it going to work for me, and you just do. And I quit in June, and it was a good time to do it because I gave myself a runway of time to figure it out, and then I was able to do it. And I changed. I kind of like pivoted when it was time to pivot, even before COVID, to get into private and get into corporate breath work and stress management and things like that. And then COVID hit, and I kind of already had my foot, like even just one toe in the door, and I was able to like navigate. And it was a good
Don't
move.
look back. Don't look.
No way. And I tell Libby all the time, I'm like, girl, we will be on the street before I take another 9-to-5 job in an
You won't
office.
have to. You won't have to,
Never
but
do that again.
you're
Yeah, I
the
hope.
best, and your success is slow, like all success, good success is, you know?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, it sounds like acting because of all the
It
rejection and
is. It
pay to
is.
play, you
Yeah,
know.
it is. But you like in acting, you do it because you love it. Like you do it because it burns that fire inside of you. And when you're auditioning or when you're in a class, or I wasn't fortunate enough when I acted to get a lot of roles, but I could tell you the high you feel when you nail a scene and you come home and you can't sleep because you're so jacked from it. When you do a workshop or you do a session and it's awesome and people connect to it and they feel it, it's the same high. It's the same endorphin rush. It's the same dopamine release. You feel exhausted afterwards, but you're so excited. And you know, it's like anything that you love, what you do. You don't even feel like you're working. I mean, there's days definitely where certain sessions are hard and you feel it then, but when you really help someone that has anxiety, stress, depression, and you see them improving, you know, I've got this one client I work with, and we've been working together since like May or April, and she's just so good now. She's so good at breathing. I work with a handful of people regularly, and she is heads and shoulders above all of them. And she used to have a lung issue. She's got health issues, that long list of them. And it's so nice to see how good she's progressed with it and how much it's helped her in a lot of different ways. And, you know, we did a session on Tuesday this week, and I just told him, like, you're like a titan of breathing. Like, it is insane how good you are. And
yeah, because it is a progression, right?
Yeah, I get choked up when I watch her do it sometimes because she's so dialed in, and she can do the slow stuff, she can do the fast stuff, and she feels really good. And, you know, I've seen a lot of people really struggle during this period in time, especially people in like major cities, LA and New York, and she's in one of them. And, you know, she's been taking really good care of herself, and it's been really, really cool to see, you know. So
Can we pivot to an exercise so we can talk more after, just
totally.
so we can go up and down naturally?
Yeah, totally.
I hate rushing out of these things.
Yeah,
you
no,
know?
how are you feeling? Are you feeling like today, how's your energy been overall?
It's good, but I feel a little heavy on the chest today. Probably because I'm overtired from working, but
Yeah.
um, uh, I'm positive and happy all day, but there's definitely like an edge of anxiety today. But every day is different, obviously.
Yeah,
Um,
totally.
but when I do practice, my heart rate is low,
Yeah.
in general, which is really great. Um, but yeah, today it's a chest thing. So what would I do for an anxiety breath work?
So there's something that's been going around a lot, that it's not a protocol. It's just one breath, and we'll start with just the one breath right now, and then
So I should get comfortable.
Get comfortable.
Okay.
You know, you say you're staying in your chest a lot. You're breathing in maybe more in your chest. So get comfortable. Just kind of settle in. And what I've been doing in my sessions lately is before we start to direct or influence any of the breathing, I just have whoever I'm working with, whether it's a group or one person, just like slow down and notice where they're at. Like for you right now, like, so we talked a little bit about it vocally. Now, like, your turn to just sort of do your own sort of emotional, mental, physical inventory. So a lot of times I would say, all right, close your eyes. So close your eyes and just check in with yourself right now and notice, like you mentioned, your chest, like you feel it maybe in your chest, some tension in your chest. Maybe if you're like me, you've had entirely too much coffee today, which I talk about basically in every session. Notice it. Maybe it's in your jaw. Like I tend to clench my jaw when I have coffee. Maybe your hands are tight. So just start to like feel the areas of your body where you might be holding stress. And now notice your breath. And as my yoga instructor, Paolo Hudson, would say, notice the quality of your breath. And by the quality, I mean, are you breathing through your nose, through your mouth? Is it slow? Is it deep in your belly? Is it shallow in your chest? Is it choppy? Like, is it going faster than you want it to go? Is it starting to slow down now? Is it starting to get more into like a slower, deeper rhythm? And that's sort of the quality of your breath. And then also, if it is nasal breathing, which it seems to be, your mouth is closed, is your nose clear? Is it slightly stuffy? Is it one nostril that's stuffy? And then you just like sort of notice these things. You notice these little nuances that sort of define where your breathing's at. And to me, if you're coming into the session, not really directing your breathing, but more so observing it and being aware of how you're breathing, that is a good indicator on some level of how you're breathing throughout your day leading up to this. So there's something called breath awareness, and that's being aware of your breathing and how you're breathing. And then what we're going to move into now is called conscious breathing. And this was notated by Dan Brule in his book, Just Breathe. So by conscious breathing, we're going to be directing our breath. We're going to be influencing our breath. We're going to be deciding how to breathe, slow, fast, all those different details that we discussed. So now take a big, full, easy breath in through the nose, nice and easy, nice and full, and just let it go. Let it go, however you want. Mouth, nose, and let's do it again. Nice and easy, nice and full, all the way in through the nose. And now you start to just connect your diaphragm and your nose. There's a natural connection there, but now you want to influence the diaphragm to also move while you're breathing, and let it go again now. All right. So we're going to do 4 more. We're going to start to slow them down. Nice and easy, nice and fully in through the nose. Big inhale. And slowly let it go. Nice. And now we're going to do 3 more. All the way in. This time really start to spread out the inhale. Take your time on it. No rush. Feel it all the way up. And when you get to the top of your inhale, take 1 more breath in at the top. And sigh it out. Let it go. There you go, girl. When we sigh, we exhale. That's how we relax. It's not the inhale that relaxes us. It's the exhale. So now, slowest inhale yet through the nose. All the way in. Nice and easy. Roommate showed up.
Sorry.
No problem.
Did you hear that?
I heard like a door open or something.
Sounded like my door is opening. Okay, I'm coming back.
No, you're good. Listen.
Well, I guess these things happen while you're doing it.
That's exactly right. Every workshop I've done, there's been an issue that happens. It's totally part of the process.
All right, I'm diving back. I don't want to lose momentum. Let's go.
Check in with yourself again. All right. Now, full nasal inhale all the way in through the nose. Big inhale in. Now, slowest exhale out of the nose. Exhale through the nose as slow as you can. Take your time. Get to the bottom. Pause. And now, let's do 1 more and make this the slowest one yet. Take your time inhaling in. Get to the top. Pause at the top. Notice if you can feel your heart beating. If you can't, that's okay. And now exhale it out through the nose, taking your time and not pushing or forcing the air out, just letting the air sort of spill out of you naturally. Get to the bottom and relax for a moment. Just pause here at the bottom. And now, let's inhale through the nose for 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's hold it for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's hold it for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it and just relax here in the hold. Again, connect to your heart beating here. The holds are relaxing. You just kind of stay in there. And now you slowly let it go. You feel your body dropping on the exhale, nice and easy, nice and slow. Calmly let it go. Get to the bottom. Pause and hold at the bottom now for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice and easy. In, all the way in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it. Relax. Relax your jaw, your face, your neck, your shoulders. And now just slowly let it go. And pause. All the way in, nice and easy. In. And nice and easy out. Let it go. All the way in, nice and easy, nice and full. Feel your belly rise and expand all the way around. Feel it in your ribs and your chest. Let it go. All the way in, big inhale, fill it up. And let it go. All the way in and out. Fill it up. Let it go. Big inhale and exhale. In and out. Let's do about 10 more big ones. Fill it up. Let it go. All the way in and out. Big inhale. Let it go. In and out. Last 5. Nice and easy. Nice and full though. Biggest, most profound inhales yet. Nice. Let it go. All the way in and out. Big inhale. Let it go. Last 2. You're doing great. Nice and easy in and out. Last 1. All the way in. This time hold it at the top of your inhale. Take a little bit more air in. Just squeeze it in there a little bit. And let's do a big sighing exhale. So sigh it out. Exhale it out. Let it go. There you go. Great sigh. And just hold here. Just stay here for a moment. So here, relax your jaw, relax your hands, all those areas we talked about before. Just stay here and wait for your body to give you that indication to breathe. I would bypass and ignore that first indication. You can stay here longer and just wait. Wait for that second or third notification to breathe. And when it's time to breathe, you're going to take a big inhale in, but maybe you can stay here a little bit longer. All right, big inhale all the way in, hold it. And so for here, this is something I've been doing lately where like I'll just tell someone to tap. So like they tap their chest, their arms, their legs, they get that lymphatic system, they're energizing their system. The breathing energizes your system. It's creating more red blood cells, it's creating more mitochondria. You're really just kind of getting your system sort of opened up, and now you just let it go, exhale it out, and maybe now is a nice time to like stretch your arms over your head. And especially with the corporate breath work I've been doing, you know, these people, I know, because I'm doing the same thing. I'm looking at my phone and on my laptop way too long. So anytime you could get them to move a little bit, especially if they're in a more calm state, they're in that more sort of relaxed state, it's more likely that they're not going to hurt themselves by like turning their head around or twisting their neck or rolling their shoulders. They're not going to like pull a muscle doing that. It's going to be light and easy, especially for someone that's tied to their desk doing Zoom call after Zoom call or email after email after email. And they've basically been hunched over like a gremlin over their laptop for 10 hours. So
look how stoned I am.
Yeah, listen, that's the stone look you're going for.
Is that crazy? It's nature.
Yeah, and it's literally 5 minutes. I mean, we did like 5 minutes maybe of it. And honestly,
Great.
you could do the 6 breaths and get your heart rate and your blood pressure to slow down. And then from there, I love the modified box breathing. That's in for 4, hold for 8, exhale for 8, hold for 8. To me, that stuff's really easy. So when
Wait,
you
was it
ask me
in
what,
for 4?
in for 4, double the
Nose?
length. Yeah, nose, hold for 8 seconds, exhale for 8, and then you can hold for 8, 10, 12. If you're feeling really good, hold for 30, hold for 20. See how long
I
you
could
can.
have held for more, but I don't want to bore people.
Yeah, listen, I get it.
Good.
I mean, I'm trying to, you really want to get something that you can do all the time, or
Right.
when you wake up or before bed. That hold too at the bottom of your exhale will help create more nitric oxide in your nasal cavity. It'll help you breathe more clearly. So if you are someone like me that suffers from allergies or stuffed nose from time to time, those exhale holds with extended holds for 20 to 30 seconds are really good for you. They open up your nose, they open up your lungs, and you could even do it on a walk. You could literally take an inhale in on a walk, exhale out, and just see how many steps you can take on an exhale hold, and let your body sort of freak out and then breathe back in. And it's a great exercise to do, this hypoxic training. And you really just want to become a more efficient, a more aware breather. That's why we start with the breath awareness stuff, and then we get into the conscious breathing.
So we have a few minutes left. So if I wanted to take a personal would you call it a lesson
Yeah,
or a
like a
personal
private
session?
private session. Yeah, like a private session. It's a lesson. Yeah. So if you wanted to do that, most people reach out to me either on Instagram, or a lot of times, it's been a lot of referrals, but they reach out to me, and what we'll do is we'll set up maybe an initial consultation call, where I'll spend half an hour, 45 minutes on the phone with the person, and find out exactly like where they're at right now. Like, how are they sleeping? What are their stress levels? What are their daily routines, their habits? If they're waking up in the night when they're sleeping, how many times do they wake up in the night? Do they know if they're breathing through their nose for sleep or through their mouth? If they're exercising, what their exercise routine looks like? Do they have any health issues, autoimmune disease, stress issues, depression, medication? I don't really get too far into the medications, though I probably should ask more, but I just try to get a real good understanding of where they're at. And a lot of times they come to me looking to do Wim Hof breathing, and we will do Wim Hof breathing, but for the most part, I find that's not necessarily the breathing that's going to be most helpful to someone long term. It's good part of the time, and it's good, before a workout, before a run, first thing in the morning. But most of the time, what people need is to get more connected to their breath, to slow their breathing down, to breathe more or exclusively through their nose, to get their breathing dialed in for sleep, to help get their anxiety under control. And Wim Hof breathing, unless you're really, not really, but unless you're connected to your breath and you know what you're doing, you don't want to exacerbate anxiety or stress. And if you're breathing heavily through your mouth and through your chest, you can create sort of a stress response in terms of your breathing. So I'm working with this one guy right now, and he reached out to me through the Wim Hof website, and today we did our one of our sessions, and I mean, we spent almost 45 minutes just talking, because he's got Parkinson's, and he
Hmm.
wants to be as healthy as possible for as long as possible, and he runs 4 times a week, and
Wow.
we talk about breathing for running, we talk about breathing for sleep, and then we'll go into a session similar to what we just did but longer, and then we'll end with Wim Hof breathing. That's typically what I'll do. Is I'll lead a session. You've been to my sessions before, and
Yeah.
they're very similar, but I spread it out and I mix it up, and I try to throw different things at people, and once we work together 3, 4, 5, 10 times, I can really start to like expand someone's practice and help them stretch their comfort zone in terms of breathing, and help them build more CO2 tolerance, help them become more efficient breathers, help them lean into stress more in terms of a breath practice. And
So you do privates and you also do community group,
yeah,
like Zooms, right?
yeah. So I had one today at 10 Eastern, and I have one on Saturday at noon Eastern, which
Oh my gosh, I'm off from work. I'm gonna come to
I
that
will
one.
send it. I will send you the link,
Yes,
and
I'm writing it
feel free to
down.
always share it. Yeah, they're community sessions. They're donation based. Some people are super generous and give more than they should, and there's really no pressure to donate, but obviously it's important, I think, to have some sort of exchange. Though for me, it's
Yes.
like it's really more about people coming and getting connected to the practice, and these are people that might not put value in doing
Where can people sign up or find you?
So my Instagram is probably the easiest way. I need to get better about updating my website, though my graphic designer just had a baby, and I have to, yeah, dude, trust me, I know, Grizzly Bear. I have to I have to book like a nanny or a babysitter, or basically take my baby out for a day so Libby can update all my stuff. But I will get better. I'm gonna put it on my Linktree tonight. So by tomorrow, if you want to sign up for my Saturday group session, there'll be a link on my Linktree for it. Otherwise, feel free to DM me on Instagram. The sessions are nice. We have a lot of repeat people coming back. We have new people coming in. So it's really for any level of experience. So don't feel intimidated. Also, if you're running late and you still want to come, just come. It's not, people come and have to leave early. It's totally part of it. But it's like, once you get into it and you notice the benefits and you feel the benefits, it can really be life changing.
There's no doubt that breath work will improve your life. It's science. It's science,
Yeah,
for
totally.
those who believe in it.
Yeah.
And
the
so
science is coming out daily. Yeah. Honestly, I do these private sessions with people, and so not only will we do the 45 minutes together, breathing, we'll do like a 10-minute intro, like how you doing, where you at, 5-minute outro, where basically they're telling me what they felt, questions, and then I'll take notes during the breathing session, and I'll basically send a follow-up email where if we talked about mouth tape, we talked about the science of breathing through your nose, I will email them science reports and articles based on.
I'm sad we only have like 2 minutes because obviously I have so many more things to say.
Yeah.
But and well, I'll bring you back in a few weeks.
Anytime, girl. I'm always down for it. Yeah.
A baby update.
You're definitely one of my biggest advocates and supporters. So I really appreciate that.
Yeah, you're the Stina Show's favorite guest.
Listen, you're too kind to me. I'm so excited to see you doing this. It's so cool.
Thank you. This is my baby.
Yeah.
Congratulations on your baby.
Honestly, keep it going. Don't stop.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
Yeah, have me back on again.
I'll see you Saturday.
I'll see you Saturday. I'll send you the link. And
say hi to Libby and the baby.
I will. I'm starting to post pictures of the baby now, so people get to see the baby. I was being a little private before, but now that our heads are a little bit out of the clouds, we're starting to kind of come back to earth.
Welcome.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome. Love talking to you. And,
love talking to you,
I'll see you on Saturday.
Yes. Blessings, love. Thank you, Avi.
Much love.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you, Avi, as always. He's the best. Please practice breath work. It's one of the best exercises. And it literally takes 2 minutes. It's just focusing and doing it. Just do it, Oh, thank you, Kayla. I miss you. Thank you, Mr. Greenberg. Kayla, I'm coming home next week. I want to see you if you're around. Anyways, thank you, everyone, for watching Stina Show. This will be posted online, so if you want to come back and get the breath work, this will be Avi's 3rd episode, so you can start from 1, 2 to 3 to see his progression in teaching a breath work. And yeah, thank you again for watching. Have a great week and a great holiday weekend. Stay safe, blessings, and much love.